I've got a pretty fun list for us to play. This is kind of a combination of a few ideas we've been having on the stream lately. So it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago that we played Geist of St. Traft in Jeskai Energy. And it was like weirdly great. The ability to jump it with Guide of Souls, the ability to like just dodging removal was a really big deal. It killed our opponents really quickly. In that deck, we were playing Consign to kind of scam the token to keep it in play. And if you keep it in play, you can do a lot of cool stuff with it. In this deck especially, where you can copy it with Mockingbird, you can copy it with Ocelot Pride, you can copy it with Caretaker's Talent. So that really pops off when you get to do it. But we've also been playing Caretaker's Talent in a few different shells. We played it in a Boros Convoke deck that went really well off stream and really poorly on stream. And then we had this like mono white K command build that was like okay, nothing too crazy, but I think it performed kind of well. And we were talking about trying to play Caretaker's Talent in just the normal energy shell, and how you have Ajani, you have Ocelot Pride, you have Voice of Victory as token enablers, and you also have Seasoned Pyromancer. Now, Seasoned Pyromancer is okay with Caretaker's Talent. It can be like a little awkward on some sequencing. And I think the Geist is just like the better enabler. It just comes down, it can't get removed, you get to play this, you get to, just kind of pop off with it. And so I've been wanting to play this at an energy shell. I've been wanting to play also just like a blue-white version of the Geist of St. Traft deck. The mana was like a little weird, and like there was some tension here. And then also because Voice of Victory gives red permanence for Ajani, like the red splash, like obviously Bombardment's really, really nice, and I wish we were playing it. But we have a very light red splash for Prismatic Ending on 3 and Wear Tear. It's just having a very smooth 2-color mana base is so nice in your Surveil Land deck. This is something that I'm coming to understand more and more, is that like the biggest reason like 2 colors feel so much better than 3 is like it just makes your Surveil Lands so smooth. Obviously you can still play 3 colors, but the Surveil Lands it's just so nice to have. One card too that I'm pretty excited about is Castle Ardenvale. This card is like so innocuous, just like 5 mana, make a token. But with Caretaker's Talent, this lets you draw a card a lot of times on your turn and your opponent's turn, which can be a pretty big deal. It also just goes really well with Ocelot Pride. Like it makes 2 tokens with Ocelot Pride, or it makes 4 tokens if you have 2 Ocelot Prides. It's just like a weird kind of inevitability mana sink in this build. I'm it's I don't know. It's just like it just weirdly is I think the best utility land we could play in this slot. We're pretty maxed out on Thraben Charms. We're playing 3. There's been a lot of Gorios lately, so I think you want to main deck that Graveyard Hate, and then this kind of nicely complements the removal suite of Ending and Thraben Charm. Yeah, you could maybe play 1 Bombardment, but yeah, we also have the red for High Noon. Don't you want to play Fountainport? It's way more powerful. Well, in a deck with Guide and Pride, I think the ability to just have a land that tops for white is really, really important. Also, like, it's not exactly just more powerful, I think, right? Does Fountainport make... Wait, it does make a 1/1, doesn't it? Yeah, it makes a 1/1, not a no-1. You could maybe play 1 Fountainport over like one of the castles, but like your ability to go like Guide into like Guide Pride while having like a white source, I think that's still pretty valuable. Maybe I'm overrating that. You're very, very easy. Like this is like almost always an untapped land. You have like 4 total non-planes here. Yeah, maybe 1 Fountainport over like 3rd castle could be fine. Let me reread this card. It's obviously not what you see in Modern a lot. Okay, so you can 2 mana sack a token, draw a card. You can pay 3 mana to make a blue fish, and you can pay 4 mana to make a treasure. What about the mobilized land? Is the mobilized? I'm thinking of the like not the Great Irrational City, but the one in that cycle that makes 2 1/1s. That one's just always going to enter tapped unless you have the Sacred Foundry. I think on just 1 red source, I don't want to play the Bombardment, but I think I'm down for 1 Fountainport over 1 Castle Ardenvale. I think that's a good suggestion from our Pioneer Master, Claudio. Seems like we can support it kind of comfy. Yeah, this card. Yeah, so one issue with this is it doesn't make tokens on your opponent's turn, which is really important for Caretaker's Talent. And then this card also only ever enters untapped if you have Sacred Foundry in play. It's like the blue-white players who are playing that blue uncounterable land. I've almost never seen that card enter untapped. It is crazy that people play that card. Yeah, but is Dalvokian Encampment the card we're talking about with the mobilized land? I don't know what the mobilized land is. But I think I'm down for a Fountainport. What are the main deck consigns for? So one, Eldrazi's just been really popular, but it scams your Geist of St. Traft tokens. It's kind of minor, but I think that line is really powerful because you get to copy those tokens. But also, I think it's like a good time to main deck and consign because like 40% of our matches have been Eldrazi this week. Right. Last seen 1 day ago on Mardu midrange. I think we're usually going to lead on the archive here. Maybe if I draw untapped land, we don't. No basic swamp for our opponent this game. Keep that one. Interesting. Wonder if they're playing the Phoenix tech to like go crazy with Ketramos. Looks like no Ketramos. Joshua Phoenix is dominant, but no Detectives Phoenixes. Interesting. Am I watching games done quick off stream? You know, I've never been that into speed running. I've always really liked I've always been really into no hit runs. So I really like Dinos and Guile and the Happy Hob and stuff like that. But speed runs have never been like all that interesting to me for whatever reason. So I might set up for a spot where they have Arena of Glory to haste their Felia. Wow. Geez. I don't have a good block. Do I double block? I think because they have Bowmaster in the yard they can get back, we do double block here. I feel like they're two sides of the same coin. I think so too, but you know, you're just always gonna have a preference for one or the other there. Wow, that was really cool. Very rarely seen a Arena of Glory Felia. They pick up a Flicker Wisp. So let's go ahead and destroy this enchantment. Play a Guide of Souls. Hoping we can draw a Caretaker's Talent to recover from that beating. What? They have Persist in their deck. And they just pick up a Bowmaster. This is too much value. Huh. Okay, let me start off with an Ajani. So I've got a lot of options. I could play a Mockingbird and flip the Ajani. I could Thraben Charm the Overlord and try to maybe copy another Overlord with the Mockingbird. I kind of think that copy Ajani and try to set up for an ultimate might be good. Let me know what you would do here. Can also like double block the Overlord maybe. Yeah, the new Sphinx is going to be a really big deal, I think. I think Edge of Eternity, you know, we just had a Final Fantasy, which was certainly like a lot more of a standard set than a modern set, and it feels like we're about to get Edge of Eternities, which is more of a modern set than a standard set. At least that's how I'm feeling about it at the moment. They're hasting something. Wait, I totally did not recognize they had Flage in the yard. Okay, well, opponent has popped off. Let's keep it moving here. Holy guacamole! All right, so I like a Ghost Vacuum in these decks or these matchups. It gives you some degree of like inevitability. Consigns are pretty good. I don't think we need to play too many copies. I think we want to play a Vacuum and a Lantern as the Flage Hate plus the Thraben Charms. Leave in the Consigns. I really don't like Static Prison much against Blink because it just like it gets exiled and then they they get their thing back. The prismatic endings are also not great being at sorcery speed. So I don't think this. Yeah, the persists seem to be new, just like value persists. Don't think I want to play a wear tear. I feel like this config can be kind of okay on the play. You know what? I think maybe Consign is just going to be a lot better than Prismatic Ending. Wear tear is an okay answer. No, we have the Thraben Charms, and that's the thing is like killing Overlord is just not. It's not a very good plan. All right, I think we have to keep this. Funny enough, this is better than the other Castle Ardenvale because we just have this could have been 2 castles and it would have been a mulligan. But I do think Caretaker's Talent is our best card in the matchup. How was ulting Ajani going to help me anyways? Well, what it's prevented was my opponent flooding the board, right? Also, like, I get to plus, I have a double block, and if my opponent plays, like, a lot of creatures, then I just have this card advantage thing. Let me know if you had a different line you wanted me to take. All right, they take the Geist of St. Traft. Feels good. So they got an Emperor of Bones, which funny enough we can't Prismatic Ending at the moment. They exile my Geist of St. Traft. Oh no. Okay, now we can. So I think what I want to do is, I guess I don't attack with the cat. Well, I'm just trying to think if I want to plus the Ajani or not. Yeah, so it doesn't die to a Flage. So because I'm going to plus the Ajani, I'm not going to make an attack here. And then if they go for the Emperor of Bones activation to go for the Geist, then we can consign the Emperor trigger. And we're plussing so this doesn't die to a Flage. The castle plus Fountainport mana bases make me nervous. Sick deck, hell yeah. And then now we're set up to next turn go take Caretaker's Talent, make a token, draw a card, and start to lead on that. Hi from Japan. Hi from Texas. I'll be in Japan later this year. All right, so they target the Ajani. Go to combat. They make no attacks. So do I surveil here? Do I care a lot if they Solitude Ephemerate? I care like a little bit. I don't think we mind so much if they just adapt the Emperor of Bones and they like basically get an Ajani token out of it. A Voice of Victory. I think I'm going to go ahead and Graveyard Voice of Victory. I'd really like to find a land so I can go Caretaker's Talent with Consign up. Okay, we do find the land. Might excited for Warp Blink effects. Yeah, I was just talking about this, but it really feels like we just got Final Fantasy, which is mostly a standard set. Edge of Eternity seems like mostly a modern set. Like the warp cards are all like way more insane for modern than they are for Bowmaster. Okay. Let's see. So they target this. We could Consign. I think we have to keep the Consign up. Shouldn't be that big of a problem. Just try to save the Prismatic Ending for this. Geist of St. Traft! Be careful with 4 mana plus fetch. Careful how? Oh, the arena. Scary Arena of Glory. So another Hasty Felia. Maybe opponents just crack the code here. Alright, so if we consign this, they have a 4-power creature. They're going to blink this, and then we can block the 4-power creature, and then they have 5 damage coming in to kill Ajani. It does seem like this, like the Geist is just kind of too much value to let go. Although maybe we could try to just consign the Felia trigger, and then we could block Felia and Bowmaster. Yeah, I guess that's going to end up being better. Just let this happen. They don't want to blink the Ajani because the Ajani comes back to me. Yeah, they might try to blink the Geist and keep the Geist. We just consign the Felia trigger. But the thing is, they know I have consign, so it's not like they're just going to play super hard into this, unfortunately. I think Final Fantasy is less of a standard set and more of a scalper set. You know what? I think that's actually true. That Final Fantasy ended up being more of a collector's set, to put it politely. Yeah, I saw Scout for Survivors. I think that card could be interesting in scales. It is a very dense set. Hagerback and Ballista don't die to counter state-based effects because this new card puts a counter on them. Yeah, I've heard that the limited is really good for Final Fantasy. I don't have like the biggest frame of reference. All right, so this Orc army is coming at me. Geist coming at Ajani. Emperor coming at Ajani. Felia coming at Ajani. Felia trigger. Targeting here. So let's stick to the plan and consign this Felia trigger, I think. Although, what happens if I consign the Geist trigger? So this is coming at Ajani, this is coming at me, this is coming at Ajani, this is coming at Ajani. So I could consign the Geist trigger, chump block here, and keep my Ajani in play. I think it seems better to say goodbye to Ajani and get this Felia off the board. But I could be wrong. Could be convinced that this isn't the best line. I guess I need to double check that this is a block I want to make. I think so. I think because I've got that, I just want to lean on the Caretaker's talent, right? Although I guess, sorry, I probably just should have left the 3/2 and played a copy with the Caretakers this next turn. So if I don't draw land, I can just go Prismatic Ending the Bowmaster. But no, it's so weird. I guess we just play the Geist. I could have also said this has been such a tough game. Okay, they got 4 cards in their hand. If we're consigning the Geist trigger, why wouldn't we have consigned the Adept? Okay, if we're consigning the Geist trigger, why wouldn't we have consigned the Adept? The Adapt? Well, so that was about how they attacked, right? Like because they chose their attackers in this way where they sent some things at me and not everything at Ajani. That's why it became interesting to they return a Felia. That's why it became interesting to maybe reconsider our attacks there. Okay, so I think I just need to try to clear the board this turn. Oh, the thing is they have this hasty Felia for the Overlord next turn. So I guess instead what we do is we go Prismatic Ending on Emperor of Bones. And then I think we do attack, and if they want to double block, that's okay, because we really want this Bowmaster off the field anyways. Okay, I was thinking I could Thraben Charm the Overlord, but now I can Thraben Charm the Felia itself, which is nice. Although, I guess there's a little bit of a risk of if they have, if they do have a removal spell for the Felia, then we get kind of got, but it has to be exactly Fatal Push. Okay, so now we just do this. Although extra Bowmaster is really bad. Alright, so kill Felia, then the Bowmaster kills my Ocelot Pride, and it hits me for 1 down to 13. Let's surveil. There's an Ajani. Seems okay. So I think what we do is we just try to Fountainport on the end of their turn to make a treasure, since a creature token just dies to the Bowmaster. How has Caretakers been? I think Caretakers is a really good card advantage engine. We are running into multiple Bowmasters, which is very good against it, because he also kills the tokens, but I have generally liked the card a lot. You don't run into too many Bowmasters these days. Even like looking at their last list, they were only playing 2 copies of the deck. So if this is maybe they added more, but it's not very good against Orcish Bowmaster. But in general, I like the card a lot. I do think winning from here is going to be tough. They mill a Flage. They return another. They return the other Bowmaster. I could copy Overlord here. I think we start off with Ajani and see if they ping the token or not. They do just ping the token. Yeah, just the fact that they, I think we could maybe have won this game if they hadn't played the Flage. Probably still pretty behind, but this is the Flage arena, too tough. Could have copied Bowmaster. I guess so. I mean, I don't really know what the plan is for beating the Flage. I was kind of like okay with them flipping the Ajani, depending on what we drew. But what I guess I didn't have the best plan for following that up. But I mean, we would have to draw like Ghost Vacuum. We draw exactly a 1-mana Graveyard Hate spell. You also draw a card with the army. Okay. Then we probably should have led on the Bowmaster then. I missed that you also drew a card. Yeah, their build was pretty cool. Definitely seemed like a lot of love. I trophied without dropping a single game with the Soul Trader Sephiroth K command list. Yeah, that build is very fun. Glad you're liking it. Did I speak about warping Castle Arena? I think we've mentioned it a little bit. I don't know how much it's come up, but we're aware. We keep it, Johnny. Says our opponent was last playing Living End. So we do have the Thraben Charm. How was Geist? But I've liked Geist to the shells I've played it in. It's like been weirdly solid. So I'm just trying to think how beatable this will be if I have the Caretakers. They do have a land. Okay. I think this is beatable enough that I can tap out for the talent here. See if they have the Force of Negation. So if they don't cast Living End this turn, the game's obviously super duper over with me having Consign in hand. If they do cast Living End, I think that this is a beatable graveyard. Should we draw somewhat reasonably? Can kill one of their things with the Thraben Charm. Actually, maybe I want to play Geist of St. Traft this turn because I could Consign the Geist trigger and I could make a 4/4 blocker. I think instead what I want to do is I want to play Ajani and I want to kill the Curator main phase with it, although maybe maybe it would be better to upkeep target the Curator so that I play around Force of Negation. Although now it seems like my opponent is interested in using a subtlety here, so we'll have to Consign. Why not just hold up Thraben Charm? So the problem with just holding up Thraben Charm in this spot is, and obviously I thought about that, is that if our opponent does not cast Living End, the game just kind of ends, right? Because they're going to be able to likely build up a bigger graveyard that isn't beatable. Yeah, I think they have Force also, because they pause so long on the Caretaker's talent that I want to replicate. They're going to be able to build up a graveyard that is not beatable with what we have here. But these three creatures, I think, is just beatable enough that we had the luxury of tapping out for Caretaker's talent. If I had already had the Consign in my hand, I think the equation changes where if we already have the Consign in our hand, then we can just kind of wait until we have that up. But holding up 2 mana and doing nothing for the rest of the game is kind of exactly how you lose to Living End in games like this. Okay, Mockingbird, flip Ajani, hold up Thraben Charm seems pretty good. I guess it's not super good if our opponent has a hard cast Subtlety. I think we still cast it here. 5 instead of 8. Makes sense. Of course not. What? I don't even have any idea what you're talking about. I would love to know what you're talking about, though. Oh, the attacks. I see. Yeah, I'm not sure. So if I plus the Ajani, we can always save it from their attack with the Thraben Charm. I think that's probably a good reason to do it. But see, like, look at this game. Like, we're just winning, you know, just winning. Okay, they besiege you my Caretaker's talent. Did you get to trigger the Curator? I don't know how much this telegraphs the Thraben Charm, but I want to be able to surveil while also still holding up the Thraben Charm. I guess we could have got planes off the Besage, then fetch the Surveil. I guess that was probably a bit better. So this is just for the Exalted, I'm assuming. So, okay, but then they don't attack with two things. And they also, I'm going to kill the Windcaller even, I guess, but... This is definitely a little weird. We probably play both Geist so we can legend roll them. This is, yeah, then save this for post living end. So we go cast a Geist. And we plus the Ajani so it doesn't die to an Exalted Sphinx. I think so. Just entomb a Geist of St. Traft. And then send in with one token. And then if they do living end again, which they might, then we have a Geist and a Pride and an ultimate at Ajani, and or I guess the Ajani won't be ultimate, it'll be at 1 loyalty, but Lord Ace with the 3 months, thank you, welcome back. I take all the credit for Geist as I was suggesting for years. I'll give you all the credit. All of the Geist of St. Traft glory. Yeah, so here's another Cascader. So they get a Subtlety, a Windcaller, Avid, and a Street Wraith. I get an Ocelot Pride and a Geist of St. Traft. No, dude, their last 2 cards are... Their hand was Cascader, Endurance, Green card. Fuck. Well, that's worse for us. Still maybe winnable. Hard to play around, I'll say. Save me Castle Ardenvale. Sage was pretty good too. That was a lot of strength that came kind of came out of nowhere too. After we had our opponent just like Castle or Ardenplea do nothing. All right, so let's go. I think trade here and then take 9 down to 6. And I think we can't correct the fetch, otherwise we're just dead to the Exalted in the air. Should be a fine matchup overall. Alright. That's kind of the best top deck. Kingdom for a Caretaker's talent, maybe? Are we ahead? I can't tell. Genuinely can't tell. I think we are. So we take 6 down to 5. I think I'm still not cracking the fetch. A little bit scared of a subtlety, but I mean, you know, can they just have it all? I don't know. Maybe they can. So if I jump here, and it does not... Would they have tanked this long if they did have subtlety? I don't know. I guess they could have endurance. Should we play around that? 5. Yeah, I guess I miscounted anyways. I think I'm wanting to send in with the tokens. Is that correct? I think that's just correct. I think trading 5 tokens for 2 damage is the correct move here. We just have infinite infinite tokens coming, and there's a pretty reasonable chance my opponent casts another Living End. I dislike Image 3. Me too. My least favorite set of all time. But I still like Modern. It's the format. These are the cards we have, and I don't know. You could do some cool stuff with them. This game has been good, I think. You know, my opponent had the Living End, Endurance, Cascader as their last 3 cards. Maybe it's not so bad that we had a pretty live draws there. I think it's cool that Castle Ardenvale is being so good. Why not jump Ocelot? Well, they sure do have a 3/4 reach. So they returned Windcaller Aven to their hand, and then they cycle. It's interesting that they chose not to return Shardless Agent. That could mean that they drew the 3rd Living End. I think it's more likely that they just already have another Cascader in their hand. You should try Intangible Virtue in this deck. I mean, I think that card... I have a hard time believing that would be better than Force of Virtue. And I don't think either effect would be very good. Seems like they're setting up for another Living End. There's a Generous Scent in the yard, too. All right, this one, a bit too much to come back from, I think. A tough game. Even with the main deck Thraben Charms and Consigns. Okay, we do get to bring in High Noons, the extra Consign, Vexing Baubles. So, oh my gosh, this is so much. I think the Geist are very hard to tap out for. I think I want to play 1 and then 2 Mockingbird. All right. 4 Consign, 3 Thraben Charm, 3 High Noon, 2 Vexing Bauble, 1 Ghost Vacuum, 1 Slow Guy Lantern. Can we beat Living End? Would jumping to Ocelot to get them to block it and put in the yard to potentially set up for another Living End been reasonable? Maybe. It would not have beaten the yard that they had, though. We were not beating that graveyard, but... We have so many sideboard cards. 4 Consign sounds too much when you already have 7 insane cards for Living End. It's the worst of them all. I disagree that it's the worst of them all. Because it's like when you think about High Noon and Vexing Bauble with Living End, it's a sideboard card that does not take a card out of your opponent's hand, right? It's a card that they wait until they draw their answer to, and then they still have their Living End stuff in their hand. Consign also stops Subtlety ETB, but also, like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here? It's like, are we not going to bring in our 4th Consign against Living End? It's kind of even silly. All right, good chance I'm just going to go like sack the token to Fountainport next turn. But like I would say Consign might even be better than like High Noon, or I think Vexing Bauble is better than High Noon, but I think you're underrating like this card that they just can never deal with, that like always stops them in their tracks. Like, it's better than Thraben Charm too, although I guess that's not a sideboard card. You have to not lose to their fair plan. I'm saying it might be dangerous to overboard. I do agree with that. I also think that like it's hard to lose to the fair plan with this deck, for whatever that's worth. So it is important to get the Ajani Ultimate available, but also Consign has more applications. Like it stops the Subtlety ETB, which is pretty good, I think. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Maybe we should be playing more Fountainports. All right, so Curator, Genericent, Waker in the yard here. Yeah, so in 2 turns they can Mistraise Village to get through the Vexing Bauble. Notably, Consign also beats the Mistraise Village. Okay. They missed their land drop, which is really good for me. Because then that's just a turn away from the Mistraise Village. I guess I'm going to graveyard that. We do have actually exactly lethal if we just make a 1-1 then plus the Ajani next turn. Assuming I can count to 10. I'm not an infect player, but I'm pretty sure this is 10. Yeah, I've seen the return card, 3 mana value worth of cards, and get a counter. I guess I could have sacked that to the Fountainport. There's nothing they can have, so let's just win the game. Nice, Max. Yeah, I've been doing some high intensity cardio kind of for the first time since my fitness journey. For cardio mostly I was doing like Stairmaster and hiking and like long walks, and lately I've been trying to get into running, and it's been really kicking my ass. Challenge starting in 12 minutes. Should be plenty of time to finish this match. Another like super awesome hand that we can't really keep because we're playing against Living End. I can't talk myself into no sideboard cards against Living End when we have infinite sideboard cards. Yeah. Get a bike. I really don't enjoy riding a bike. I don't know. It just like is very uncomfortable to ride a bike. Yeah, I don't know if it's a tall people thing. Well, they commandeer the Vexing Bauble. Well, I guess they have to sack it, so it kind of turns it into a 3 for 2. Interesting. We're playing the mono blue Fact or Fiction deck at the challenge. Should be in the title, right? All right, so are they gonna turn 3 Living in me through turn 1 Vexing? For a second, I thought we were about to get Force of Negation into. So we're gonna plus. With the Teferi, I just can't keep this. They made a 1-mana bolt with a set mechanic. Wait, is it power? Is it actually Power Crept Lightning Bolt? All right. Well, we went turn 1 Vexing Bauble, turn 2 High Noon. It's turn 4. We're getting Living Ended. 2 Generous Sense and a Street Wraith could possibly be beatable if I draw really well. Kind of sad not to surveil a creature into the yard. I might activate High Noon this game. Kind of unbelievable to lose. I don't know. So many cyber cards. It is what it is. Sorcery Speed Shock that deals 3 instead of... You know, maybe we need to stop comparing new cards to old cards. It just always leads to, it's Thoughtseize, it's Lightning Bolt. Oh wait, it's not similar at all. It's just... Into Cure. They have 3 cards in their hand here. It's crazy. All right. So that was a little run bad. About 25% Dimir mid range. Interesting. I found I liked playing with and against Dimir when I was playing Standard. That does seem like the main archetype that didn't get any hits. Opponents on a mold of 5 here. Might set up for the Fountainport, flip Ajani line again. Mold of 5 Takanuma, I'd like to see that. They're not going to March of Wretches. Okay, no, they're not. I think I'm okay if they jump here. They're a Phyrexian Tower deck. So they could be like the Sephiroth Soul Trader deck we played. Although, it wouldn't be the exact list. I wasn't splashing color playing fetch lands. No, Challenge did fire. We just got 2-0'd by Boros super fast, you know. So they're playing a Nightmare. This does make you sacrifice a non-token creature. So I think we sack the Guide of Souls, got another copy here. Okay, Caretaker's Talent should be great next turn. Should be more damage to Guide Mockingbird, main phase 1. As we get the Guide of Souls jump. I think just having the ultimate ability is also really nice. A basic Swamp. Super bind. Okay, Shambling Gas. So they have 4 mana available here. They play a Nightmare. They can make me sack my Guide of Souls with the Marauder. And then I guess we could just have... It's kind of fun to be playing a token deck against Marauder. So let's play... I guess we want to maybe hold up blue if we draw Consign. Worse if we draw a fetch land for a Surveil. Okay, nice. Could also try to have leveled the Caretaker's Talent so we can just ultimate and attack for millions next turn, but I guess we're already kind of attacking for millions, so I think it's better to hold up the Consign. Tap a Swamp, concede, go into game 2. Get to bring in our 4 Sanctifiers effects. Just kidding. So I think, do I just want all the graveyard hate in the world? I think so. I might not play the second. I mean, Cage just seems pretty. Endings seem good. Thraben Charm seems a little inefficient. It does kill Nightmare. Yeah, Thraben Charm is probably great. We got the Static Prison. Seems like games can go kind of long. Trim a Geist on the draw. Trim a Mockingbird. Trim a Voice of Victory. Is Dark Confidant good in Standard? Probably not, right? I like Geist more than Voice. Well, on the draw, I think you just usually want to trim a 3-drop. Okay, I am gonna mulligan here. My opponent's on a mold of 6. I think I'm gonna go to 5. Let's try this one on 6. Inelegant with the 41 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Bob is medium. Kind of predictable, I guess. Sad indeed. So my opponent plays a Nightmare. If I consign the Nightmare trigger, does it basically just like invalidate it the rest of the game? They shouldn't have any other energy generators, right? Yeah, the Fountainport flipping Ajani has been... Okay, well, we got the Thraben Charm to deal with that, I guess. Fountainport flipping Ajani has been pretty cool. Okay, so I guess we're planning to Thraben Charm the Illness in the Ranks, play Geist of St. Traft, and then we can go Caretaker's Talent into Consign the Geist trigger, and then the following turn we can copy the Geist token with the talent. Although, they've just graveyarded a Flare of Malice, a card that's pretty good against Geist of St. Traft. That's a fun sentence to say today. Thanks again, Inelegant, for the 41, and then Talk with the 4 months. Today on twitch.tv/aspiringspike, Flare of Malice is good against Geist of St. Traft. A little bit scared of the Soul Trader with them having Gravecrawler in play. I think we're just having to jam on our kind of awkward mulligan. Is Illness the Ranks just a new tech for Boros? Yeah, that's more or less it. It's I was trying it yesterday to see, like, is this a card that, like, is this a card that you want to have against Steel Cutter decks? I don't think so. It's an issue for black decks that you're, like, just so weak to Steel Cutter. All right, so we are at 4 effectively. Why did my life total get so low? How did I take this much damage? I shocked with the Hallowed Fountain. That's 2. Took 4 from this, 3 from this, 7, 9, 10, 11. Did I get hit by this 3 times? I guess I got hit by that 3 times. I think on the play. Dude, we have Grafdigger's Cage against Rolf's Messenger. So I think Virulent Plague could be better, because Virulent Plague is actually just 3 mana. Your Quarry Steel Cutters are blank. Or not blank, they can still be equipments, but kind of blank. Almost blank. Yeah, we lost the first match to Boros. Been doing that for about a year. So we want to attack before we play the cage. Might influence their decision. Is Conqueror stopping Sack Engine good enough? I feel like we just have so many cards that hate the Soul Trader combo. It feels a little narrow to me, but it could be good. So they do sack the Supplier. They milled 2 towers. They might just be on the full 4. There's a Worn Soul Trader. And then here's a Guide of Souls, which I think we keep on top and then just get our engine in play. We should be pretty safe with this cage. Recog, thank you for the Twitch Prime. I'd love to see a new sub. Thank you for supporting the stream. I've been tempted to try Illness Ranks against Eldrazi Response, never cast it. Yeah, we did bring it in against Eldrazi yesterday, and I don't think we drew it. It's kind of interesting against at least the bills that are also playing cards like Fleshraker and Writhing Chrysalis. Level 2. Bowmaster? No Bowmaster. Well. Level 3 is going to be pretty good next turn, I think. Oh, this also lets me jump the Ocelot Pride. Card draw spells are better when you have higher quality cards in your deck. Might sound kind of obvious, but this is actually a problem you run into sometimes with like newer formats. Like, card draw spells look worse because, or like, when I say newer formats, I mean underexplored formats. Card draw spells always look worse at first when formats aren't solved because you don't know what the optimal builds are. Martoni with the 38. Thank you. Welcome back. Not saying that that's what's happening here at all, but something to think about. I do think our opponent will probably concede before we ultimate our Caretaker's talent, but is it worth noting that it's providing 12 power of 12 points of power next turn? Maybe, maybe not. That was my takeaway when testing Stock Up and Titan. Turns out Stock Up is better when you don't run 32 lands. Yeah, that was genuinely some deck building advice, despite it being something kind of obvious. Ooh, okay. Oh, I thought this was about to be the what's it called? Meat Hook Massacre? Maybe they should be playing Meat Hook Massacre instead. But that's fun. Also, Fountainport is very, like, the most fun card we could possibly draw. They do keep a card on top. I don't think they have too many good cards in their deck. Maybe they have an Answer to Cage. They do have a light red splash. Okay, I guess we're making treasure tokens instead of creature tokens. You've got your anti-token sideboard card. I've got my anti-graveyard sideboard card. Everything is right in the world. Oh, we don't have to do this now, but my Caretaker's talent counters illness in the ranks really well. I think we'll probably make a treasure token this turn because we can keep the cards flowing a little bit, but that's kind of funny. Sephiroth. Pyroclasm, okay. I don't think I'm consigning a single Sephiroth trigger. Great suggestion to add the Fountainport, by the way. Well, I guess this turn we are making another treasure token. And drawing 2. It costs 4 to level up, but and I was gonna level it up and start making tokens, but now we have a kind of likely ability to draw 4 cards a turn cycle. Just gotta play into that, I think. Oh, I did not mean to correct the fetch. Classic Urborg misclick, I guess. It's technically 1 less life to make a treasure token than it is to spend 1 less mana and make a 1/1 that dies. Alright, so level up. Oh my gosh! Okay. Oops. Kind of fine, actually. So now I can't misclick. That's good news. So let's go Static Prison the Sephiroth, and then we can draw 2 cards on our opponent's turn. And we can start making 2/2s. Maybe we'll end up Prismatic Ending the illness, maybe we won't. I think they'll probably concede soon. Caretakers is really good, I think. Very underexplored modern card. I think I'm copying. Just copy the 2/2. But that is not my express goal here. I just, I'm just one guy, and when I've been working on cards, a lot of different drafts emerge. I'm probably just keeping the proactive draw, putting this back. Although they were last seen playing Boros Energy. Maybe about Mono Blue Belcher. I love when Mono Blue Belcher is popular. It's a very slow deck that games are interesting against, and you can really just crush the deck if you want to crush it. I really like when that I think that's a characteristic of Modern that that I like, that if you want to just crush a deck, you can crush it. And I don't think that was something that was the case in Modern for a long time, basically until like Raptor Ring got banned. But like if you want to crush Boros Energy, you can. If you want to, it is definitely the case that if you want to crush any one deck, you can. But you know, building a deck that's good against everything is very difficult, which is also, of course, a feature, not a bug. I might get Basic Island here. Zindat, which is Primal, come back. Is there a deck that crushes Titan? Mill crushes Titan. You could also build a deck that crushes it. Yeah, Merfolk and Mill are usually the best too. Thoughts on Eldrazi Temple with artifact shapeshifters? Yeah, if you're talking about Metallic Mimic and like the 3-mana 1/2/2, like those cards are just so shitty. I'm also a big believer in not playing. Oh, they went after the guide, not the token. Interesting. I'm a big believer in not playing crappy like 3-drops to make K command better. I'm a big believer that K command is really, really good and end of sentence. No, not end of sentence. I'm a big believer that K command is like super strong, and you don't need to play like crappy cards that are only good when you have a big K command, right? Because when you have a big K command, you win anyways. Do you have a favorite domain list? If Helga Karuga counts, I like that deck a lot. Although the problem is Eldrazi's really back, and that deck is I think quite good against everything but Eldrazi. Yeah, you could consign the Geist Angel Leaves trigger. That's a part of this deck idea for sure. Do you think I'm just as excited for Edge of Eternity as I was Dragonstorm? I think I'm more excited. A lot of that excitement is coming from the flavor of the set, weirdly enough. I wasn't exactly expecting this, but Edge of Eternity seems like just the setting is really cool. And I really like the design of the stations. I think the stations are really cool cards. Warp is also like... And so I'm more excited for like the design. I don't think the stations will be like playable in Modern probably, but there are more things that are interesting to brew around in Edge of Eternity than there were in Dragonstorm. Dragonstorm had a lot, but Steelcutter and Ugin were kind of the stands out with like a lot of like fringe stuff that kind of went into one deck. There are so many possibilities with this set. It's pretty crazy. Have I thought about playing this here with Geist of St. Traft? Nope. I'm not a big believer that like putting an equipment on a Geist of St. Traft is particularly interesting. I think maybe a Buster Sword. And what's interesting about a Buster Sword on a Geist of St. Traft is it lets you cast 5-drops, and you can cast like Solitude and Lord Revealed for 0, and you get that mana back. But like I think just making your Geist really beefy outside of Gydo Souls, which makes it flying and does so for a much smaller mana investment, I think is way better. With the cards revealed so far, what am I most interested in? I really like the Sphinx that has Warp, where you get, like, I think that card plus Ephemerate and Felia is going to be really crazy. New Tezzeret looks really fun. The Angel that searches at planes or 1-drops looks really cool. The Eldrazi looks really weird but powerful. There's a lot. Do you think Winter Night Swords being underplayed? I think so. I think Winter Night Swords is really good. I hope my opponent slows down a little bit. I don't want them to make any mistakes because they're playing too quickly here. Yeah, it's very Spectral Flight on Geist of St. Traft vibes. Classic. Seems like what they've been trying to do with the hat sets, but done well. I don't know, what are the hat sets? I haven't heard that term. Alright, they keep a card on top. Slow down. Slow down. Yeah, I mean, the Spectral Flight Geist of St. Traft is just something people used to do in Standard. It isn't not meant to be taken as a serious deck suggestion there. Cosmo Grand Zenith, the mono white flurry card, will see Modern play. It's the kind of card that like I would be a lot more interested in if they hadn't just printed Vivi and Narset, which are both like solid cards. This one has its advantages. Okay, that's pretty interesting. I think I still got to go Ending Voice, but then the Caretaker's talent's going to go really crazy. Hat sets are akin to the overdone isekai genre. This somehow didn't provide clarity. I'm more confused. I know how isekais are overdone. I haven't really watched many. Esther liked this one that was like this girl gets reincarnated as the villain of the video game, but she just decides to be really nice instead. I don't think it's accurate at all. Yeah, pick the one common next place. Well, yeah, I can't read it. Okay. Just regular character with cowboy hats. Okay, so Outlaws of Thunder Junction was. And then murders. So they're the gimmick sets. What does the term hat mean? I guess that's what I'm most curious about. You said the hat sets. What is a hat set? You know, like is that, where does the word hat come from? What is the acronym? Is it an acronym? Is it I don't know, what does that mean? All right, well, my opponent, are they dead on board? They're pretty close if they're not. Ooh, we could put the counters on the angel for no reason, but it would be pretty. Ooh, second Caretakers is sick. Maybe we should play this deck on the challenge. I don't know. There's something going on here. I'm really having a hard time with it, but yeah, it looks like we're one short of lethal. There's really something special going on with this Caretaker's Geist thing. It's just, maybe I just like it too much. Detective hats, cowboy hats. Okay, so it's a Reddit term where the characters are you put a hat on the character. Okay. And now in Edge of Eternity, we're wearing space hats. Dude, a Geist of St. Traft with a flying counter on it. Now that's just good deck building. I don't know what to tell you. What's my favorite hat set? Well, are there two? Is it just Outlaws of Thunder Junction and Murders of Karlov Manor? Outlaws had a lot of sweet cards in it. I didn't like the flavor of either. I'd say flavor-wise, Murders wins by a little bit. I did play the Clue Murders game, and that was fun. If Edge of Eternity's power level wasn't as high as it is, people would be complaining about the bottle sets. I don't. Maybe. Like people probably already still are, right? They'll complain about anything, so you don't need to. So like the people who always complain about everything, you don't need to worry about so much, I think. But I think it's really good. I think that the flavor of this set is really good, and I might just be wrong about that, but I'd love to hear your thoughts if you like it or not. But I think it is just good. I think I'm gonna go down 2 voice for a Ghost Vacuum and a Lantern. Maybe go down 1 Consign. 2 Consign? Yeah, I guess Consign's kind of narrow. I'll just play 1. Like, I think the art for Edge looks great. And I'm not someone that even, like, talks about this stuff ever, but, like, I'm someone who appreciates that Magic is a game with flavor and art and story. Like, it does enhance the experience. But the art looks great. What I've heard about the stories and how there's a different planet for each color of mana is cool. The stations and the spaceships, as game pieces that bring you into immersion, are, like, masterpieces. Just masterpieces. The weird space cult is cool. Weird space monsters like Cosmogoyf is cool. Like, I would love to have, like, many more Edge of Eternity sets. Like, I would love to stay here. But unfortunately, we got to go get pictures of Spider-Man. Check on the challenge. 8 matches. I think the flavor of standard sets has been good, except Duskmourn, which I didn't like. I think I liked Duskmourn, and I didn't feel super strongly about it. I really liked Bloomburrow, and I'm not even a furry. Or am I? I liked Aetherdrift. I think if you saw the movie Redline, you understood Aetherdrift. You understood it wasn't Mad Max. It was trying to be Redline. Foundations was weird. Like, just have a random ass core set. I think we pending. I liked Foundations. I guess I'm just, you know, I've seen too many core sets to like core sets anymore. I in general think core sets are just so dumb. At this point, maybe dumb isn't the word, but I think we as a game have outgrown core sets. Genuinely, Foundations is a very good idea to remember all the core sets with their next reprint of Natural State. It makes sense to have that. No, it doesn't, because it's like you just reprint these like commons and uncommons you want to be in standard in the other standard sets. I just feel like we've just outgrown them so much. You want Searing Spear in standard, put it in a standard set. You want Birds of Paradise, put it in a standard set. It's like just map it out, you know. Reprint them in standard sets if you want them around longer. One core set's better, one per year. Yeah, I just think in general that I am anti core set. If we never had another core set again, I would not miss them at all. If you like core sets, that's fine. Four sets of core sets. New legendary artifact creature dropped. Oh, I saw a 1 mana 2/1 artifact creature that you can spend 2 mana to make an artifact with. Diadrine, Synthesis Amalgam. Green white X, trample, enters with X counters equal to the amount of mana spent to cast it. So for 2 mana, it's a 3/2 trample with 2 counters. When you attack, remove a counter from each of 2 creatures you control. A counter from each of 2 creatures. If you do, draw a card to make a 2/2 robot. I think I gotta play this Ajani. I've already used 2 Prismatic Endings, so I would normally really like to have a 3rd color for Prismatic Ending. The thing is, I only have 2 left in the deck, so I think I'm just going to save the 2 life by not getting the Sacred Foundry. This card with Experiment 1 and District Master. Well, I think you're more likely going to want to pair it with cards like... Oh, they killed my Ajani. Sorry, I thought they were flipping theirs. I think you're more likely going to want to pair this card with... like Hardened Scale stuff in Modern, at least. Maybe in Standard you could do that stuff. Next turn I might just like copy and then activate Castle, so just draw 4 cards on the turn cycle. So we have Thraben Charm to kill the bombardments. They kill the Ocelot Pride, and then they're going to kill a token. So I can go kill bombardment before I make my other copy, maybe. Yeah, so they wisely do this, so I can't Caretakers this turn. But of course, Ajani with no bombardment, it's not that scary. And we've got the Thraben Charm up for the Flage. And then we have Voice and Castle to keep this chain going. Scout for Survivor's crazy. 3 mana value cards from your 1 with upside. I mean, there's just so many cards like this that, like, you know, like think about Return to the Ranks. This can be 0 mana, return 4 creatures, and nobody plays it, you know. Although maybe you could play it. The counter is interesting with, like, Ballista and stuff, though. Okay, so they're going to have... Maybe I probably just need... Oh, wait, so they have too many... With two spells discarded, the Thraben Charm does not stop the Ajani here. Alright, so let's go just exile their graveyard. So I think we main phase here. Certainly, they got a lot of board pressure here. Enchant creature you control. When enchanted creature attacks, put target creature from defending player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, tapped and attacking. At the beginning of your end step, sack this aura unless you triggered Void. Well, not quite a Emperor of Bones. Yeah, I've seen Consult the Star Charts. I think that card's really good. I like that one a lot. It's weird that it's so similar to a green-black card, but whatever. Scout the survivors for Ballista, Ravager, Hangerback, creates an 11-11 Ballista with a single scales out. Yeah, a single scales out. You need a single scales, and then you need all of these in the yard, and then you need no graveyard hate and no counterspell. And then, baby, 11-11 Ballista. Also, no removal spell in response to the Ravager. So, yeah, yes, they're like, there's stuff going on here, but... Wait, did it target me? Guess they're going to kill the Pride Mate now? Oh. I think I'm taking 4. I think it's really important to keep this token in play. Thank you, Glenn. Spike, your deck sucks. I hate them. They're awful. Stop making them. So go lose into them. I guess I won't do that, actually. Too much for the 3 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Are they going to Wrath the Skies? So they Wrath the Skies and they kill everything, including my Caretaker's Talents. Which is kind of a problem. Although my Geist can clean up this kind of well. Do I also play... I guess I play the Pride too. Why not? Let's just get in there. 3 cards in their hand. So they have another Ajani. It's pretty good. Guided Souls would be the best draw by a lot. That would let me jump the Geist to St. Traft. I think we still have... No, we have 1 in the yard, so we have 3 left in the deck. Caretaker's Talent would also be really good. Caretaker's into it would be really good. They plus here. Alright, let's go to game 3. Tough Wrath the Skies. Two matches left of the challenge. 49 minutes on the clock. Hopefully we can finish this round up. It's been a long league match here. Charma Goofy, thank you for the 19 months. I hope that you're doing well today, my friend. It's been a while since I played Hardened Scales. Scales is kind of tough to justify with all these Clarion Conquerors out there. And everything else. Should splash for Coco since you have 4 birds already. Maybe I'll end up building the birds deck. I think I keep this on the play in the Boros matchup. We are Azurius, despite having the Sacred Foundry just for Prismatic Ending. Hard matchup to mulligan in. Get to surveil into some action. About to be up 10 minutes on the clock. I think, yeah, it seems like the Scales Discord thing will never be over. Maybe it'll be over when their deck is playable again. Okay, definitely snapping that off. Graveyard. Probably a fine turn just to tap out for the Caretaker's Talent. If they flip the Ajani, we have Prismatic Ending for it. Yeah, I don't think the station cards will be very good, but I think they're very cool. I really enjoy these cards. So we have Prismatic Ending for the Ajani. We have Thraben Charm for the Bombardment. Well, that might be a step too far. Why standard cards in Modern? Asking for a friend. They're actually legal in this format too. Caretaker's Talent's been it's been a very powerful card advantage engine. You may have missed this, but they banned the One Ring, so there's no longer a de facto best card advantage engine in the format. Cards like Stock Up are like your premier card draw spell of the format. Caretaker's Talent is like significantly stronger than Stock Up. I think it's been like, I've been liking Caretaker's Talent as card advantage engine, and I'm exploring it. Probably losing this game, drawing no creatures. Yeah, it's kind of like the White Fable. Graveyard Trespasser has been kind of a similar card. Do I think energy will get banned? Seems like on the downswing. It is on the downswing. We've had about a year of energy being a really dominant deck. I think the format would be better, like if specifically Ajani was banned or Guide of Souls, but I think Modern's in a good space. It doesn't seem like we're gonna get bans anytime soon. Modern could definitely be better though. Could definitely be better. Flage? Okay. So down to 6, then we could hit down to 3, and then we can go Lantern, cycle the Lantern. We need to draw like a Johnny. Kind of like it a Johnny. I'd prefer unbans before. Yeah, so like the thing about unbans is like I don't think that there are too many that would like really improve gameplay in this current format besides Death Threat Shaman. I think Shaman would really be the card for me, but I guess we're just dead. Sorry, I thought I had another plains. My other plains has been surveilled into the graveyard. Kind of sad. I guess if this was Flooded Strand, we could get our island and then we'd be in there. Yeah, I do think Modern is pretty good. So I don't want to spend a lot of time. Okay, round 2 is about the start of the challenge. I don't want to spend a lot of time pining for bans and stuff. Shaman would be an awful unban in my opinion. I think this is a really boomer attitude to have. I really think if looting an Opal especially or unbanned, Shaman would be so fucking fine. But also like green really needs green fair decks need a buff. Black fair decks could use a buff. Mana dorks could use a buff. Creature combo decks could use a buff. It's like I think in Decay Return, Goblin Bombardment, Wrath the Skies world, we can survive Death Threat Shaman. I think Death Threat Shaman is more versatile than Guide, Pride, Tamio, Ragavan, DRC, but I think it's actually less powerful than all of those 1-drops. It kind of reminds me a lot of how like, the modern gamers who are still complaining about Mox Opal